What's up guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to solve the Megaminx in probably one of the easiest ways possible. So make sure you guys hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let's get straight over to the tutorial. So the first step in solving the Megaminx is to actually get the white cross on top. So it's very similar to the white cross on the 3x3, but you don't make the daisy. So if you've only made the daisy on a 3x3, it's a little bit different. You want to just solve each piece one at a time at the top and then match it up with its center. So I see this white and red, I can move it, and then I notice that it has to be over here next to the blue, so I'll move it up, and then I can move it back. This one could just go up. Got the purple. And you can also line it up with the other color first, so like this one's purple, I can line it up with this and bring it up. And you do that for every single one. So I only have one more. Find the green. And I'll have to move this out of the way. And then I'll do that. Just like that. So the nice thing about the Megaminx is because there's a lot more layers, it's a bit easier to solve things without messing up other things that you worked on. So that's one pro to solving the Megaminx. Now for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be using kind of the beginner method for the 3x3 in some sort of way. But the next step in solving the Megaminx is to solve the corners on the white side, just like you would for the corners on a 3x3. So what I do is I put the corner above where it needs to go, and then I do RU, R prime, U prime until it orients correctly. And I do that for each one, just like this. And sometimes you may have to do it multiple times until you get it to solve. But once again, you just do that for every single corner. And you guys have finished the next step. So once again, just like the 3x3, on the Megaminx, you're gonna solve the second layer right here, just as you would for the 3x3. So it seems like you might have to use different algorithms, but it's the exact same algorithms. So if you guys need those algorithms, I'll link my 3x3 tutorial in the description. But for this case, for example, this needs to go right here. So I'll just do that algorithm, just like that. And you just want to do that for each one. Got the green and purple, so I'll go ahead and line it up right there. And you just want to do those algorithms for each and every edge piece. So this step is going to be a little bit different than you normally do on the 3x3, because on the 3x3 you just have the top layer left, but if you look at the Megaminx, we still have a lot more to solve. And so this is where it comes in handy with the tutorial, is by having a certain way to solve each of these without messing up other things that you've already worked on. So the first thing that I do is I find the orange and yellow edge piece. So as I look around and I find it, I want to move it over without messing up what I've already done. So kind of just watch every move that you do. And then once you get it matched up and paired with both centers, you want to find this corner right here. So you got the purple, orange, and yellow. And as I look around, you see the purple, orange, and yellow right there. And you're going to do those same four moves, RU, R prime, U prime, until it's solved. And then after that, you need to find the purple and orange edge piece, which as I look around, it's right here. And you want to move it until you match it up above where it needs to go. And then you can do one of those algorithms that you do to solve the second layer of the 3x3. And then just like that, you completed these three pieces. So the next thing that I do is I find the green and yellow edge piece, which is right here. And I match it up without messing up these. Then I find this corner, so you got the yellow, blue, and green. And I put it above where it needs to go. I do those four moves until it lines up. And then I find the edge piece. So I look around, got the edge piece right there. Put it above where it needs to go. And then you insert it. Now the next area to do is the pink and the blue edge piece. So as I'm looking around, it's right here. Move it without messing up your other pieces. And sometimes you may have to mess up some of your pieces, but just make sure that after you solve it, you undo those moves so it doesn't mess anything up. Then you need to find this corner, blue, pink, and red. So I look around, blue, pink, and red right here. Put it above where it needs to go. do those 4 moves until it solves. And then I find the edge piece. Since it's in here, I'll just take it out by doing one of those algorithms, and then I'll insert it. And we only have to do this about 2 more times. So you're gonna find the tan and the red, which is right here. And then you're gonna find this corner, which it is right here, but I can just take it out by doing a few moves. And then I can put it above where it needs to go, do the 4 moves. And then I find the tan and green piece. And then I can go ahead and insert it, just like that. Now this last part is gonna be a little bit tricky because it's the last one, but you're gonna find the blue and the green edge piece, which is right here. And you're gonna have to do a few moves to undo what you may have messed up. But after you've done this, you wanna move this piece over, just like that. And you're gonna treat it like you're solving it right here. So what I need to find is the green, blue, and purple corner piece. And as I look around, I see it right here. So I'm gonna take it out of its place. And then I'm gonna put it above where it needs to go. I'm gonna do those 4 moves until it solves. And then you find the blue and purple edge piece. So as I'm looking around, it's right here. I'll take it out. And since it is, though it doesn't show purple center, this is technically where it needs to go because it will place orient like that. So I'll just do that algorithm. And then after that, I can move this piece back and it solves the last group of 3. So now you're gonna treat this step as though it's the second layer for the 3, or this second and third step for the 3x3. So you're gonna solve these corners. So I got purple, blue, and orange. Put above where it needs to go and insert it. Basically, the only corners that don't have a gray or whatever the top layer is gonna have to be inserted somewhere. So this one doesn't have gray. Gonna line up where it needs to go and do those 4 moves. And you're gonna do that for every single one, just like that, until you finish it. Now the next step is to just insert each of these, just like a normal 3x3, just like that. And you're just gonna keep repeating this until you've solved each and every single one. So now that we've done that, we are officially on the last layer of solving the Megaminx. And there are 3 different cases for this next step, and what you need to do is solve the top star, or the cross. So this first case is when you got this line, and then you got this extra one right here. And it's actually the exact same case as this one right here. So what I do is I go F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. So if you do the same thing over here, or you do it like this, or hold it like this, and you do the algorithm, it will solve the star. The second case is when you have this one with 3 edges next to each other, and it's the exact same case as a line, or an L, and you're just gonna do F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. Same thing over here, F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. Just like that. Now the last case is this one where you got 1 edge right here, and it's the same thing as the dot case. So you're just gonna choose one of the algorithms and hold it like this, and then you're gonna do the other algorithm. And just like that, you guys have solved the top star. Now we have a few more steps. So this next step is gonna be getting each of these edges in the right spot. So what you want to do is you want to turn the top until you find 2 edge pieces that are actually in the right spot at the same time. If you can't find any by looking at each turn, then I'd recommend just doing some other random OL cases, like a soon. But if that does happen, I just recommend doing a bunch of random algorithms that you know will only mess with the top layer. But after you've done this, it's kind of like a soon case. So before we actually do anything, we need to look at where these pieces need to go. So this one needs to go right here to the pink side. This green one needs to go over here, and this one needs to go over here. So I need the pink to replace the green to replace the blue. So if you have 2 that are across from each other, I recommend holding it like this. And I would just raise this up. So I need pink to replace green. So I'm gonna replace it with green by doing R and R prime moves and U moves. And then I need green to replace blue. So I'll go R to replace that. And then I just need blue to come back over here. So I'll just solve it. Now if you have two that are next to each other, you can almost do a soon or an anti-soon. So this one needs to go right here, which needs to go right here, which needs to go back over here. So I can just do that just to solve the top edges. So those are just a few examples. I'm not going to go over every single one, but it's kind of intuitive. All you do is go R to bring one back, do a couple moves to go to where it needs to replace, go down, do a couple moves to go where it needs to replace, go up, and then you can bring it back. But now we are on the last two steps on solving the Megaminx. So now we need to move all of the pieces, all the corners in the right spot. And so what you want to do from now on is hold this top layer on the bottom. And so what you want to do is you want to move this bottom layer until you find a piece that isn't in the correct spot. And you can do that by looking at its other two colors besides gray. So this is green and orange. This is between the green and pink layers or edges. You want it to be between the green and orange because that's the two colors that it has. So since this is in the wrong spot, I'm gonna put it at the bottom right. I'm gonna do R, U, R prime. And so what that does is it takes it out of its spot. Now that we have done that, we need to find the green and orange layer. So, or the green and orange edges. So we need to rotate the bottom until we find where it needs to go. And then you need to do the opposite of what you did. So if you did the moves R, U, R prime, then the next thing you're going to do is R, U prime, R prime. So since I did R, U, R prime on the last one, I'm going to do R, U prime, R prime. So now that it's in the right spot, I need to look at these two pieces. Now I notice a gray piece right here. You want to find a gray corner. And since there is a gray corner right here, I need to look at the other two colors, which is blue and tan. So I'm going to move the bottom layer until I find blue and tan, which is right here. And since I did RU prime R prime on the last one, I'm going to do RU R prime. So now that I've done that, if I look at these two pieces, I notice this one has a gray. And so I'm going to look at these two colors, green and pink. So if I move the bottom, I find green and pink, which is right here. I'm going to do RU prime R prime because I just did RU R prime. Now, if it solves everything on the top, just make sure you've solved everything on the bottom. If you got each corner in the right spot, good job. I'm going to cover one more case. So in this case, I'm going to start with this piece. I'm going to put it in the bottom right because it's not solved. I'll do RU R prime first. You always want to do that first. Got blue and orange, which is right here. So I'm going to do RU prime R prime. And then right here, I have blue and tan. And notice how when I do that, it's not solved on the top and there's no gray pieces. So if there's no gray pieces, you need to look around and find one on the bottom that isn't solved. Because there's going to be more on the bottom that isn't solved unless you did something wrong. So this one's in the wrong spot. So since I did RU R prime on the last one, I'm going to do RU prime R prime. And then I have this piece. And I can go ahead and put it right here. And I can put this piece back over here. And just like that, you guys have solved or put all of these pieces in the right spot. And now you guys have one more step, which is to orient them correctly. And so how you do that is exactly like the 3x3. So on the 3x3 on the last step, what you do is you do RU R prime U prime until you solve each corner. And you rotate the bottom. And you do that for every single corner until you solve the entire cube. And that's the exact same thing on the Megaminx. So you start with one corner that needs to be oriented. And you do RU R prime U prime. And then once it's solved, you move to the next one. And you keep on doing that until it's solved every single corner piece. And once you finish, you should be able to move the last few layers And just like that, you guys have solved your first ever Megaminx. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it helped you guys a lot. That's going to be it for today's video, so I will see you all in the next video.